Hello guys, Wahoo here, back on the video, this time around with the PTS patch notes and also gameplay for the block party. So we got the block party, that's kind of thing, because it's very much about the block, the combat block, and also of course mostly for me I feel like is the mythic gems. So the combat block is going to be sort of not too complicated, but when you see it on the PTS server it's going to make a lot of sense and be very easy to kind of figure out the system. But when I'm talking about it, I might kind of yap a little bit about it because it's on paper or on the patch notes, it seems kind of what is it really about, and when you see it in game, it's super simple. So we're gonna see it with that. So I will probably yap a little bit about it, but I won't go too much into detail because when you see on the patch note, not on the patch notes, but on the gameplay, you are going to see it's going to be very straightforward, not very much to it at all in that sense of the accessibility for everybody involved with the system that you want to use. But basically the TLDR with that one is that they want to help melee classes. They basically want to help people not die as much. Maybe they have some stats we don't know of where people kind of die left and right, and they kind of discourage people to play, and at least that's what happens. And usually in many games when people die, they really don't feel like, you know, doing over again. Not that there's not so much deck doing over in Trove, but you know, it can be kind of daunting if you die all the time. So I think they want to mix that up a little bit as well. But the patch notes is in the description if you want to check them out yourself. But let's just move into the very first thing, which is the combat block. So the combat block is a new system to protect people from dying. It works very similar to death-defying veil. If you know what that one is, death-defying is very popular between players and such, because you don't die unless you run out of flash charges, and there are of course ways to also obtain those flash charges again and such. So many people use death-defying, and this is going to work. It's similar to that. It's not going to be like a shield. It kind of looks like being a shield. It could be fun if it was actually a shield. You know, you took damage before that, but it is basically, if you were to take, let's say, 10 damage over what would kill you, that 10 damage would then prevent it on the, of course, this new combat block. I'll show you guys again in game. It makes a lot more sense, but it basically goes down to being all your defensive stats, which include max health, health regen, and stability, all those defensive stats. Great, probably gear melee classes like Knight and Revenant can have over 1,000 points on these ones, and you see that in game as well. This is actually per class, so it's not like something you are going to have. It's going to have on every class, but it's not going to be something you fill on one class and then you have it on all classes. So you basically have to fill it on all your classes at the moment. Because, as you can see, for PTS server, and only for the PTS server, I want to make that very clear, that this is going to cost credits, but you have endless credits on, of course, the PTS server, so this is basically free. This also says here, fill your block for being free for testing. And then when it comes to live servers, it's going to cost you some in-game currency that is obtainable by everybody. So there's not going to be any pay to win, because this is not going to be something that increases your combat stats or anything like that. It's not something that's going to give you mastery or anything like that. Basically, this is just an extra death-defying. I don't know how exactly it's going to work with death-defying, you know, but we'll see. Basically, maybe I'll take the shield and then it will also proc the death-defying, and then you'll be healed as well, and then take some of the shield. I don't know, but we'll see that when it goes live. I'm not going to mess around with it a lot, but much of it on the PTS server, because you'll see the system and it's going to make a lot of sense when you see it there. But basically, it also breaks it down kind of in this segment right here, if you want to read that. Also kind of the idea behind what they wanted to do. But this is something I guess they also talked about on the dev live stream that we did a few weeks ago. I think almost actually a month from now, actually, because this is the 15th and it was on the 16th last month. So it's actually a month since we actually had this talked about on the dev live stream for, you know, Sunfest and such. But I just want to mention that the cost is going to be qubits and maybe some flux or something like that, but it's not going to be massive, but it's going to be a little bit, just so you guys know that it will be costing some materials that are definitely obtainable through the game, and you don't have to pay anything. It's not going to be a pay to win. Also, when you see the system, you would not be something you would pay for. I would definitely not pay for this feature. I would definitely pay for some other stuff, of course, but definitely not this. And it's something you can fill up just in the hub. And maybe they're going to put one in, you can put in one in your cornerstone as well. Maybe you can buy it somewhere. I don't know yet. Maybe that's a something they could add. They can put in your cornerstone on your club world, but right now it's only in the hub, and it doesn't take very long to go to the hub, so you can just fill it up if you want to, or if you don't want to add that at all. So again, when you see it in game, it's going to be much easier, and you're going to be like, oh, okay, it was just that, or okay, that's how it works, right? So we are going to leave it the combat block at this point, and when we get in game again, it's going to make a lot more sense. But more exciting is, of course, the mythic gems. Mythic gems are now, mythic gem tier is going to be in the game. And don't worry, before you kind of, it's going to work very similar to how we upgraded our stellar gems to our crystal gems. There's also going to be like an upgrading thing you can buy in the store. I don't know if it's going to cost both credits and qubits, but I'm guessing it's going to work exactly the same. I think you can also upgrade it through the crafting bench. There is in the difficulty 15. There's these small ships around with some NPCs on it. There's a crafting bench and such. And in there, I'm pretty sure you can craft these as well as you could with the other ones as well. Being very expensive though. And most people just do it through the shop because they have the qubits for it, or the credits if they want to do so as well. So it's really, really up to you. So on the PTS server, of course, you can just upgrade them. You can just buy them when you have them as well. But it's pretty cool. You are going to get through that. It's pretty simple. So as you can see here, they have arrived, and they are obtained, of course, from the long chain difficulty. So right now, the highest you can get, basically, if you do difficulty 14, you are going to get the same gem boxes as you do in 15 right now as on live servers, but when it of course changes, then the max you are going to get is these mythic gems in those tier 15 of course worlds. So you can do, of course, long shade or difficulty 14 and obtain, of course, the mythic gems. You do have to be in 15 to obtain those. And also, I'm pretty sure there is also where you are going to get your new materials as well to upgrade. As it says right here, requires new materials to fully upgrade and old materials. And I think the old materials is just gem dust and maybe some few extra things that people are sitting on. So the old materials is something we have already farmed a bunch of, so don't worry about that. The new materials is something you maybe want to, know what is when we, of course, re-upgrade them, when we see what it is going to be. But moving forward, as I said, like your crystal gems, good news, you can buy those, of course, mythic gem converters from the store, allowing you to upgrade them to of course, mythic gear from crystal as well as we tried before. So I like that, how it's the same system, so people don't get confused. Oh, you have to do a completely different thing when you have to upgrade them from, from crystal to mythic, right, in what we did before. So it's just going to be sort of the same, similar to that as well. But I'm pretty sure you can craft them as well if you choose to do so. So there's basically a free to play option as well, which is sort of also with the qubits, but still on the same. People might want to, upgrade faster and don't want to be, time gated by the other things. So I think it's really important that people can just grind their upgraders as much as they want as well. But we see what the new materials are, but again, the old materials is more likely, of course, the gem dust that we have a bunch of, or some people have a bunch of, and so forth. Then we are going to move into balance, as you can see right here. I'm not going to go into detail every single class. You can, of course, read that if you want to do so, or pause the video if you choose to do so. But yeah, basically what they're doing is that they're kind of just letting you know that they haven't forgot about the less played classes. Usually, if you see all of these are the less played classes. I played a Acolyte. I know a lot of people do that as well. It is a kind of a nice basic attack increase there, but I'm not sure it's going to be that significant. Maybe it'll rise to be one of the best classes. That would be super, super awesome. But you can see it's mostly like classes that are not played very much. And I think they just want to incentivize to kind of, hey guys, there is like some classes. We're going to buff them a little bit, just so you guys kind of see that they also kind of fun to play, and you can actually, roll with the class that fits your playing style the most, right? So I don't think this is going to change very much with what people are playing right now, but I think it's just gonna put them more on the exactly the same level, because some of these, of course, classes here might have been like a little bit under the other ones, but not with very much. And I think this is just going to put them very close to, or like on the same level as the other ones as well. So many people do ask me if I don't want to do the tier list, and it is one of my popular videos, but there's not really any point to doing it. I would just have to put all the classes in the same row, or like just beneath it, and that's not very much of a tier list. Just like, hey, these classes are a little bit better than the other ones, and now maybe I had to change them a little bit. So every class is basically on the same level. That's why I don't do tier list anymore, because it's not really necessary for doing any of them. You can play whatever basically you want and have a fun time with it. You can see I do Draco and I'm doing fine, right? So anyways, moving on to the Trials of Luxion. Trials of Luxion is going to have some more items added to it. Also, that you can make the souls for the new Luxion dragon, the one that we just got with the rework of Luxion, of course. Now you can make 30 per week, and also you will get a little bit more Venturine to get a little bit more of that when you do hit the sweet or lucky loot when you open those boxes. There's a chance of being, hey, sweet, and you get a little bit more, and now they've increased that a little bit more, so that's super, super awesome. Moving on, we, of course, have a few general ones, and I do have some extra ones as well that we want to add here in the end, but a few new worlds have been added to the Longshade, and also we got the new wings and shield, of course, for the new seal, because we, of course, voted on this on the live stream, so if you missed that, you missed out. You should have been there, and they did kind of ask us 3 different ones we could vote for, and I think it was number 2 that won. I'm not sure. We'll see that whenever we get in game, maybe today or when we get to live servers. But yeah, then there's some new ones, and that's super, super awesome. Also, they fixed an issue where Magic Find wouldn't appear on Crystal Gear when you got it from the Gear Crafting Profession. So that's super, super awesome. Some extra and even more amazing news is that, and it's just not included in this one, is that players that will receive 1 week of Patreon if they have played at least 1 week. I was about to say 1 hour on the PTS server between today and the 20th of August. I'm not sure if that is completely implemented. I would definitely take to the PTS server if you have the opportunity, and of course play for an hour. You can do, if you go to the description, I have linked the thing you have to put in the live server chat. So if you're on your live server, you basically open up the chat and you type in /exportaccount, and that will tell you, do you want to export that to the PTS server? And you say yes, and it says, hey, you have now exported your account. And then when you get on, you have an account that is similar exactly to the one you just copied from the PTS server. So just keep that in mind. But I've linked it or written it down in the description. You can just go down and just copy it and put it in your chat. But that's how you get your account to the PTS server. But if you already have an account on the PTS server, of course you can just log into that one. But I'm just letting you know that you can also make a new account when you go on the PTS server. It basically lets you make a new account that's similar, not similar to your own one, but it's basically starting you from scratch. So you can basically kind of copy that one to the PTS, so which is really, really, really nice. But it's super, super awesome with the 1 hour of game. So if you just play for 1 hour on the PTS server, you are gonna get a whole week of Patreon. And I've talked about this for some time now, like a couple of years, that I really wanted some people, or I wanted people to get, rewards for playing the PTS server, because I didn't feel like there was a lot of people playing the PTS server. When we didn't get a lot of bugs kind of fixed, it's because people were not playing it, and they couldn't monitor what happened to people. So of course they look at everything happening. So if people are crashing or people are doing, this happens to people or whatever, then they can see it on their, of course, the computers, the Gamigo team, right? And therefore they can fix those things and say, oh, why did this person crash? Okay, that's because of the people doing that or whatever, because they ran into a wall or whatever, and then they disconnected. Okay, we have to fix that wall or whatever. But for 1 hour, for just 1 hour of gameplay, you get a whole week of Patreon, which is super, super insane. The PTS server is going to be up for 2 weeks, so you do have 2 weeks to play around with this, but only the first week here is going to be where you can get yourself that 1 hour of gameplay, and then you get 1 week of Patreon. It's not in the patch notes, it's just something we were informed about. I don't want to get murdered here if it doesn't happen yet. I don't want to put my, I don't want to get my head chopped off for saying that if people don't get their patron, I am not at that side of the things, right? But I'm just saying to you guys that this is something they are working on, and it might actually be coming up, maybe hopefully this time around, because they said it, but hopefully in the next time we will have PTS server, this is something that's going to happen again. So I'm definitely going to play around an hour. I'm always going to do that anyway, because I'm going to test a bunch of things, right, for you guys and for the devs and such. So I'm definitely going to get my hour in, but I just wanted to mention for you guys, so if you play around 1 hour and then you basically stop, I would go more than an hour, not like exactly an hour, because I don't know when it's going to register and stuff like that. So maybe you want to be safe and play 2 hours just for that, or hour and a half or something like that. But you should get that 1 week of patron. Maybe it's not going to unlock it at like right away. So don't worry. Maybe you have to wait until the PTS server is done, or like on the 20th of August, as I said, from the 15th to the 20th. So it might actually only come after that. So we'll have to see what happens with that. But I'm just very, very happy and very, very excited that we are getting rewarded for playing on the PTS server. And I think 1 week of patron for just playing 1 hour is absolutely insane. That's so generous for getting that. I was just thinking you were gonna get like maybe 10,000 flux or something, like one of those flux capacitors, whatever they're called, one that like holds 9,999 flux, right? You just get one of those for just playing an hour on the PTS server or something like that. A whole week of patron is absolutely insanely generous to give away, because that's actually real money that Gamigo is actually throwing after people. This is real money. It's not even like something, like I said, if it was something in game, they can just, make as much as they want, but they're basically giving away free money for people playing on the PTS server. They're basically paying people to play on the PTS server. You're actually getting paid to play on the PTS server. That is absolutely insane. That's just super generous, more than I've ever seen for any game. So shout out to Gamigo. That is very, very generous, and hopefully it's gonna be there, but maybe that is going to be a little overpowered. Who knows? But anyways, I just wanted to mention that. And again, the generosity is just out the wazoo. Anyways, thank you guys for watching of course, the patch notes here. But we're not done yet. We are going to jump on to, of course, the PTS server, which I'm going to show you right now. All right, guys, we are now on the PTS server, and we are going to start out with the block or battle block stuff first, because I haven't found where you can put it in your cornerstone on your club world. Maybe they'll add that later, or maybe they didn't think about that, But it's not very hard to pick up, as I said in the in the patch notes part, as I said before. Basically, it's very, very simple. You can pick it up. You can see I already have some on me, and you can see down here, don't care about my inventory. The PTS server, there's a lot of people playing, so we are gonna rubber band a bunch, because a lot of people are testing things, doing things, and it is also the first day, so we'll have to bear with the little bit of rubber banding going on at the moment. We probably don't have the stellar servers that we have on live servers, but that doesn't really matter. It's fine as it is right now, because we're just gonna test a bunch of stuff. So as I said, you can see down here, I don't have any mods or anything like that. If I go into my settings here, I don't have any mods, just making sure that that everything we are seeing right here is also what's going to be in game. Also, of course, for consoles, when we are going to move on for those. So I just need my mouse, that's why I have to open this one up right here. And as you can see right there, down at my health bar, you can see there's a little sextant. I think it's called sextant. It's a little, there's a little thing down here that kind of looks like a shield, but that's the block. And you can also see there is a different workbench right over here. So what I do is that you just go up to this one and you just hit it, and you are going to get a little animation, and that is going to give you the shield, and it's going to give you a little bit more if you're not maxed out on your block and everything like that. So it might also change. If you see 302, it doesn't mean that it's going to be 302 for you. It can be less, it can be more, it can be very different. So you might be wondering, okay, so now I have a bit of a block here, and that's when I'm going to take damage, and it's going to work the same. I do have death defying at my thing right here. As you can, death defying is on as well. So doesn't really matter how it works, but it's gonna work just like that, as I talked about before. But I do want to show you guys one thing, is that if I do move on to a different class that do not have used the crafting bench or the interaction bench, whatever you will call it, it's not there. So it's individual for every single class that you are going to use. So you just walk up to it, and it's going to be a little bit slow, I think. Yeah, there you go. So it is a little bit laggy. So I'm only gonna get 17 on this guy. So I basically take 17 damage as well. So I'm gonna try to move over to the crafting bench over here, because it's also right over here. There's also one here. As you can see, there's also one right here. Hey, that's actually Mr. CC, Mr. Cash and Clean, also checking out some stuff. So that's gonna be 17. If I move on to a different class, it's gonna be 61, so that's because I probably have some a little bit better combat stats, or not combat stat, but defense stats, of course, on that one as well, combat stats, so I guess it's all of it. It did talk about the Revenant having a little bit better stats, 229 on that one, and also I think it said something, but yeah, for sure, it's my Dracolite that seems to be having the most of it as well. So 302, I think, is what I can obtain so far on that as well. So that's the battle block. You basically just go to the hub and you click this button here, and you are going to get it for free right now, but in the future it's going to cost you something. So basically when you purchase, you can see basically purchasing it right now is going to cost you credits, but in the future it's going to be basically free, because it's going to be in-game currency you are going to craft it with. So it's not just going to be something like, you know, the rejuvenation station where you just like fill up your potions and you just fill up your basically your block. That's not how it's going to work. You do have to craft something for it, but it is individual for every single class. So it's not going to be just your best class that's going to have all of it, and then you have it on all the classes. So you basically have to go and do it all of them if you choose to do so. You don't need to have it. It's just that death-defying, basically. So with that said, let's move on to the club world, because I also want to show you guys, of course, the gems. All right, we are now in the club world. It is a little wonky, so hopefully I won't get disconnected, but we'll see. So if I suddenly it suddenly clips to a different one, it's because it's a little bit unstable at the moment. But I wanted to go to the club world because I wanted to show you guys all the new things that are with the gems. You probably saw in my inventory right here, these are the new gems. I was giving these by the devs as well, and also a bunch of things that I could show you guys, of course, how this all is going to work. But if you're not on the PTS server and you don't have the devs just giving you things on that, of course they're not going to give me that on the real servers. Unfortunately, that'd be super sick though. But I kind of don't want to get that either, because I want to work for my stuff, right? I just don't want to get, even though it's very fun and very amazing. But we are going to talk about the gems, and as you can see, if you go into basically your adventures crafting bench, you can see everything there is going to be with this, and you can see all the old stuff is here as well. These old crystal empowered gem boxes, these are the ones we used before. These were the primal shards ones we could use before to upgrade our gems from 28 to 30, of course. And now there's this mythic gem shard as well, and it's exactly what we had before. So it's just going to cost us 20 now, all of these. And you might be wondering, how do I get these sparks? Well, you actually get them from breaking down crystal gems if they are high enough levels. But you can see that right here as well. You can also convert just straight up dust into these ones as well. But I wanted to mention, of course, the gems as well, but you can just convert them into that. So just go ahead and want to use as many as you want. So these are going to be completely the same as we had before. And right down here, we have the crystal gem converter. We had that one before that cost some of these, and those are the ones you got from stellar into crystal. But now we also have the mythic gem converter. Works exactly the same. You can also get it at Saltwater Sam, of course, in the D15 worlds, and it's gonna cost you some of these Soul of the Deep. That is also for the gear. I was a little sad that it's also gonna cost these ones, because these are quite hard to get, but mythic gear shards is of course the ones that is what you need to, you can get it from here. So basically they kind of work exactly the same. These were a special item or sort of you got from that, but they were quite easy to get compared to the souls. I wish it maybe was cores. If it was cores, it'd be a little bit easier, but this is not the only way you are going to get these. You can of course also get them in the shop. I haven't seen them in the shop yet, but you can see you can buy the crystal gem converters. I don't know what the price is. I really wish what the price was, but I'm pretty sure that it's going to be around the same. I hope it's going to be around the same price. Hopefully it's not going to be more expensive. That would be a little sad, because this is a lot of qubits you need to upgrade these as well. I can't find any of these on the market, on the shop right now, because the shop is a little bit wonky. on the PTS server, because they don't really maintenance it right here, because people really shouldn't buy things here, of course. Also because they shouldn't buy, like, you know, these gem packs and like for real money and stuff. People shouldn't really use, you know, their real money on this server, right? So people shouldn't like spend all their money there. So this is what they're probably going to cost. We'll see that, of course, on the live service, but you are going to be able to buy them from the shop as well, exactly as you did with the crystal gem converters as well. But if you do want to buy them or craft them yourself, if you do want to, as you could do with these ones as well, then of course you just have to craft them right here with some Souls of the Deep. Of course you get them, you know, from boxes and all that stuff. We have talked about these souls before. You maybe also you're sitting on a bunch of them as well, but you still need to use these for upgrading your gear, so you're gonna have a lot of these, but there's an option to do so, and these ones are actually quite simple to get. And then of course there's the rest of them. Also there's also mythic empowered gem boxes. If you do want to get these, they are going to be quite expensive. You can need some of these air gem sparks, which is of course depending on which one you use, if you want fire as well. And these ones, of course, the empowered gem fragments that gets from when you break down an empowered gem box, gems, sorry. And then you get these fragments basically. And then you need some souls, and then you need, of course, these shards as well. Only one of them is kind of actually a good price, I would say. This is actually not too bad to actually get. I didn't consider the cost, but maybe the fire sparks is a little bit expensive, but other than that, it's actually pretty. 5 is kind of reasonable for the souls. So actually, for one of these, well, you're not guaranteed to see what you get, but you can also get a class key fragment, so that would be very, very sad. And that's kind of sad to get a class gem fragment instead of actually a mythic empowered one. So I guess there's a 50-50 chance of getting something super, super awesome and fantastic. But yeah, these are also in there, so you can check all this stuff out. So it's gonna work again exactly the same. As you can see, there's also crystal empowered ones that work exactly the same. Actually, the emotes here was actually kind of harder to get in a sense, but these are also equally at the same time. But yeah, I'm probably gonna get all my gems to mythic and going through that. But not only that, we also of course want to talk a little bit about these gems as well. And if we go in here, I did do of course one of these, and as you can see, when you get to 28 as we have right now, you're gonna need some of these ones we talked about before. These ones, you need some of these, and that's how it kind of works right now as well. So when you open up that, then of course this is what is going to happen. But there is a little bit of an issue, maybe I would say so, but you can see I also have one that is 28 on, you know, Burning Ward right here, and it is going to cost you some of these right here, so these going to be a lot more expensive. So it's way better to get yourself a crystal gem, and then going from that, and then using this one, for example, because this is 28 as well. Of course, you can only go to 30. This, of course, goes to 35, but it is going to be cheaper for you to basically in dust or in grinding, I guess, sort of. Because the point is that when you do hit level 30, you do have to have some of these mythic gem converters, which can be maybe a little bit expensive in the store. So it's really up to you what you feel like is mostly expensive, but it basically, just keep in mind that maybe upgrading a crystal one is a little bit more cheaper on the dust, because it is 28 and this is also 28, but the cost is way more. It's 16, for example, and it's one of these that costs 20 of each of them. So it's quite more expensive, and this is only 4 of each of the elements, and this is only 8 to get it to 29, right? So it's quite expensive indeed, but I wanted to show you guys this anyway. So, but all my gems here are perfect, so I'm not going to play around with this one, so I might as well do this one. I do want to turn all of my, of course, gems into that. So let's just see. We are now at 2830, so I'm going to upgrade it. All right, so that took me to 3100. So it did put me up 200 and something to, not 200, 170 power rank. 170 power rank for putting that up there again. Okay, so it's still going, of course, it's going to cost you that. I just want to use this one, so I don't want to use too many of these. But I do want to get it to 35. I do have, again, these are a bunch of them that I got from the devs to show you guys this as well. So I'm going to level it all up to 35. So now it's maxed 3,412 is the max you can get. I do want to show you guys right over here so you don't guys like, oh my god, but these are all 100% perfect gem. So the new maximum of empowered gems are now 3,412. It took me to 8,500. If I do, you kind of take this one out and do put this one in, it's not going to show exactly. Oh, the same color. Oh, never mind. Okay, so I can't show you guys that at the moment, unfortunately. Maybe I do have some in my inventory. I do have some in my... I don't have any crystal ones, so I don't remember what my power rank was before this, but I think I was almost at... yeah, I think I got like 500 or something. Oh, I can actually just, you know, do a little bit of calculations here. So let me just do a little bit of calculations. All right, I did get 582 more power rank for this one compared to this one. So let me just, you know, upgrade all of these, and I will see you guys when I am at max. So you can see this is my power rank before. I didn't hit the, I just hit, I guess, the 48,000. And I'm going to continue and getting all these. I'll just want to make sure you guys also know that these are my current gear also on the live servers. So just wanted to show you guys that these are only 1-star mythic gear, I was about to say. Mythic gear, of course, so that's not where most of my power rank is coming from. Just to let you guys know that as well before I max it all out, and you guys can see on my new power rank as well. All right, I did get to play around a little bit with the gems. So I did hit 50,000 power rank. So I did not get all the way to max. As you can see, this is 32, this is 30, 34, and 35, and so forth. I am not opening all my boxes because the servers are being a little bit wonky now because a lot of people are still playing and trying to get their stuff. So I will, of course, you know, play probably tomorrow or the day after or something like that and see if I can't, you know, get this up and running because I do want to see how much I do have. So yeah, it is quite expensive when you get up there. Definitely a lot of these sparks are going to be required to max out your gems. But I did get to 50,000, which is really nice. But again, these are mostly all just 30. I did get, of course, them to up to Mythic. So there's a lot of ways to go still on the power rank. But I want to end the video right here because I basically got everything I did want to do so because there's just so much that the time I can use on these videos. So yeah. Ending up the video at this point, I will max it all out and maybe I'll show you guys on Discord or something like that what my power rank do end up being when I'm opening all these and such, because I cannot put in mods either because that game is just being quite wonky at that. So yeah, just wanted to mention that, and that is going to be the video. I covered everything there was with it, but yeah, I'll you know, continue playing on the server, checking stuff out. But I showed you guys everything you needed to know with the update. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!